Hello, 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 hello. I am so excited to be here with you. Another episode. Y'all, this is episode 6. Y'all missed 5, not because of y'all, but because of me. I haven't put it out yet, but I am going to. It was so good. But we're doing this episode live, and 5 will be pre-recorded, and then you'll be able to see it. But we've been getting into a lot of things with our amazing therapist. And we're going to introduce her in just a minute. If this is your first time watching me, hello, I am your purpose pusher, Andrea Purry, pushing you into purpose with prayer and affirmation, letting you know that there is a purpose for your life. And I am ready to help you push it on out. Hallelujah. Super excited about being here. This is the Neighborhood Podcast, where we have the neighborhood therapist, where we are talking about some of life woes, ups and downs. We're getting to the wellness portion of the Whole Woman's Wellness Conference, where therapist Jessica will be one of our amazing speakers. We are so excited for the Whole Woman's Wellness Conference, and that's going to be August 23rd, 24th, and 25th. If you look on the screen at the bottom, you'll see it like scrolling. So if you go on Eventbrite and type in Whole Woman's Wellness Conference, you'll see this amazing conference. We've been doing it now for 5 years. Super excited about this 5th year and ready to see what God has in store. As we bring our guests up, can you please share this live with somebody? If you're seeing us live, I want you to know, hello. If you're seeing us by replay, hashtag replay in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We love to hear from you. Me and Jessica love to come back, read the comments, and see who is in the chat. Let's give it up for Jessica.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Jessica, how you doing? How you feeling?
Doing well. Well, I'm kind of getting over a cold. And so, I've been trying to be a weekend warrior, I guess, through the month of July and doing a lot of traveling. And so my body finally said, okay, you need to rest now. So it did that by giving me a cold. So if I cough or if I clear my voice, that's what it is. But I'm not contagious, I promise. It's just a regular cold.
Not contagious to the spring. I know that's right. Maybe we ain't getting nothing.
Tell the lady at church next to me, I said, I'm coughing. I said, but I'm not contagious, I promise. Because we were packed in there. So I thought I saw her give me the eyes a couple of times. I was like, I'm not contagious.
Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. Thank you so much again for coming on. I think we've talked about this topic before. And I don't think we'll ever stop, because I feel like this is something that is needed for women and for men and for girls and for boys. It's needed for everybody.
Yes.
It don't matter where you at in your life. This topic is needed. And you like, Dre, what topic? Forgiveness. The beauty of forgiving yourself. So we're going to jump right in. And this is not one of the questions, but I kind of want to go here first. Why do you feel like beauty and forgiveness are synonyms in this atmosphere? Or this, I guess I shouldn't say atmosphere, but this time I feel like beauty and forgiveness go hand in hand. Why do you think that?
So I want to clarify just even further, like in media, why do you think beauty and forgiveness are like two things?
Not in media. I would say with women. And because like, okay, for me, like I always hear, like we talk about the soft life. We're talking about women not being so strong. Women, like now it's time for you to ask for help. Like it's okay to ask for help. You know, when we hear all of these different things, I feel like that the beauty and the forgiveness is like being synonyms.
Right. Okay. So the first thing that pops into my mind, especially with beauty, I think beauty is always a standard somewhere in society, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you live in the South, the beauty standard is one way. You live in the North, the beauty standard is one way. It's very different in California there than it is from somewhere down in Texas. So I think beauty is just kind of that word that is there's the duality of it. We're always chasing beauty, but what is beauty really? What is the standard of beauty that we're looking for? And so when I go back to hearing soft life as what we are talking about it nowadays, soft life for women, I feel like is us kind of trying to get back to our calling of just being feminine, of just resting in what God wanted us to be as women, which is the helpmate, not the provider, not the one who is not the one who is going out and slaying the lions, although we can, right? Because God
we can do it
in our own right, right? But getting back to that just feminine of our own beauty, because women are beautiful just in general, no matter what region you come from, where you live. Women, we have been made with curves. We have been made with, you know, with femininity. That the essence of that is beautiful. When you really tap into that, like we're creators, we are. So to me, it's that soft life is kind of getting back to those femininity, the essence of it. Being able to create, being able to flow, being able to just be peaceful.
Yeah. I like everything that you said, and I feel like that's the way that I want this episode to go, because so many times we have not given ourselves enough grace to even think about forgiving ourselves, or even think about areas where we could forgive ourselves. We've been so hard on ourselves. And I think forgiveness is like the first step to that real feminine, because most of the time when you think about femininity, you think about someone who has grace, someone who's very classy, someone who is very soft spoken. And I think all of those attributes go along with forgiveness. When you think about somebody getting ready to forgive, they get a little soft. They're like, please, that they have that graceful tone. I was even telling my brother one time, like, we got to make sure that we know the way to forgive, and we're teaching, our children, my nieces and nephews, and the people who are growing up around us, how to have a forgiveness in their heart. And as we go into this, I really feel like as we get to those soft places in forgiveness, we're able to open up more to that softer life. So in saying all of that, why is forgiving yourself harder than forgiving others?
So in my opinion, well, not in opinion, but in my experience, forgiveness is harder with self because we have control of self. I don't have control over the situation or the person that may have caused the offense, right? But most of the time I have control over how I respond, how I choose to, if I choose to stay in the same vicinity as that person, or what happens next. I have the choice over what I do with myself and what happens next. And so, if I choose the opposite of what is really what I would really hope to choose, like being true to myself versus maybe I'm caught in the people pleaser role. So I do what pleases the other person. And I don't move accordingly to what is true to myself, then that's hard to forgive, because it's like, dang, how could, we all have that self-language from time to time. How could I have been so stupid? Like, you knew better. Like, what are you doing, girl? Like, we've all had that self-talk where it's just, we knew before we saw the writing on the wall before it even got to that point, and we tried to change the trajectory of the situation, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Now I have to do it myself.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that, like you said, we've done in the past a lot. And even that self-talk, we got to make sure we're saying the right things to ourselves. Like, you can't call yourself the S word. Like, yes, you may have done something that you didn't feel that was the best, but at the same time, forgiving yourself is loving yourself.
Right.
And the way that we love ourselves is we correct ourselves when we even talking to ourselves.
Correct.
And I know I used to do this with one of my friends, and I'd be like, friend, you can't talk bad about yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's my friend you talking about.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, you talking to me, to me? Yes, I'm talking to you, to you. And we have to make sure that we are treating ourselves like we want to be treated. Mm-hmm. So forgiving yourself should be the first step before you even forgive someone else, because you want to treat yourself how you want to treat others.
Right.
So let's take the hard out of that and let's make it easier by thinking, I want to be treated this way, so I got to treat myself this way first.
Right.
Put you first.
Yes.
What are some common ways people carry guilt or shame even years after the mistake?
That can show up in how you treat yourself, right? That can show up in your parenting. It can show up in your finances. It can show up pretty much in any space of your life, that you because we adopt shame too. Most times with unforgiveness, we adopt shame or we adopt guilt. If not both, one or the other. I see a lot of parents that I work with adopt shame because their kid may have been removed, or they will come back and, they still don't know how to parent them, or they're so, they haven't forgiven themselves about the situation that happened. And maybe they have changed, they've done the work, but they still haven't forgiven themselves. And so they think the kids haven't forgiven them as well. So now they parent out of shame and guilt, and it shows up that way. Like I said, finances, it can show up that way because now maybe you've adopted a people pleaser, where I just give my money out. Like, anybody asks me for anything, I'm gonna make sure I give it to them before, even if I have needs that aren't taken care of. Right. So I feel like it can show up in any area of your life, if it has been left unchecked.
That's true. That's so true. Thank you for sharing that with us. I feel like as you're saying this, I'm kind of like doing some self-inventory, like, okay, Dre, check yourself. I like that. So my next question is, how do we even know if we're truly forgiving ourselves? Or if we're just avoiding the pain?
Or fake forgiveness is what I like to call it. Do we have true forgiveness or fake forgiveness? So I've had to, again, in my experience, I've dealt with this as well. I think true forgiveness is when you actually release the person or the thing from whatever has happened, right? You no longer, like, I used to wake up at times and I would go through in my head and I'd be like, this is how I would have responded, and they don't deserve, and they don't, And I had to catch myself. I was like, Jessica, you said you forgave this, and you sitting up over here thinking about 99 ways that you can get back or say this, and nobody even said anything to you. Right? I'm reeling it over in my head, the situation, and nothing had to trigger me. It just whatever, it came up. So I had to, the Bible says forgive 77 times 7. So you never stop forgiving sometimes. Sometimes you have to recognize, be aware that it's popped back up. And then you have to say, which I say to myself is, I release this again. I'm not holding on to it. And I truly forgive. Right? Because sometimes something could have triggered it. In these cases, when I'm waking up with it, maybe it's something in my dream, because our mind holds on to memories. And, when we're asleep, that's when they can run free, because our inhibitions are lowered. And so really just being aware that, hey, you're mulling this over again, so you got to let it go again. But also knowing when you have forgiven is when that situation or that person comes around and you no longer feel two ways about it.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question about what you just said, because do you think that there is a way that you can forgive a person and yourself about a certain situation, but still have hurt or still have pain? Or do you think the forgiveness and is the pain leaving?
Okay, so I kind of have a two-part response to that, because yes, I do. I think that the emotion that went with the situation can linger, but I also think in that you could have forgiven, right? But is where the line for me is that emotion so strong that you still feel the need, the sting of like the offense of where I need to do something about it, right? Because our emotion there is to let us know that something happened and we felt something. Right? You always hear them say forgive but don't forget. I think sometimes we need to remember the emotion that we felt, because that is what's going to be a reminder of when I get in the situation again, or this person tries to approach me. I need to keep that in remembrance, because you didn't handle me correctly the first time around. So there has to be parameters in place, or I don't even need to allow myself to come back in contact with you, because I remember I release you from what happened and I forgive you for that, but I don't have to go back to what hurt me. That's why I say you can still have the feeling, the emotion, but you can have released the person from the situation. Like, I'm no longer holding you captive in my mind of the situation and working to find a way to get back at you. I released you. I'm allowing you be over there while I'm over here, but I don't have to be over there with you. Right?
Okay. You be over there. I'm gonna be over there with you.
Right. Okay. I love you from a distance, but I can't love you up close. Right. And so God called us to love. So I can love you from a distance, but I can't love you up close and personal. Right.
Yeah.
Kind of fool me once, don't fool me again.
So good.
So I do believe you can still have the emotion, but have forgiven.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. The next question is, what steps can someone take today to begin the process of self-forgiveness, especially when they feel unworthy of grace? That's tough.
So the first step that you can take today is just acknowledging that you've been hurt. Something hurts you. something. Sometimes that's the most powerful step, because sometimes people don't even allow themselves to take the moment to say, I've been hurt, or that hurt me, because we're, again, and I would say this more with men, I feel like, because a pride thing, like, we don't want to acknowledge that, because that would say I'm weak.
Me too.
Yeah.
That is so good. Acknowledging something hurts you is the first step. Okay, so what's the next step after that?
The next step is checking in with self. What did this bring up for me? What did it actually hurt? So what is that emotion that I'm feeling?
Checking in with self, asking yourself the question, what is the emotion that I'm feeling? Mm-hmm. What is the emotion that I'm feeling? Okay, so now I know the emotion. The emotion is anger.
Okay.
Now what's on my next step?
Okay. So then again, continuing to sit with yourself. Do I do that? I now have accepted that I'm angry. Okay. What now do I need to do with that? Is it that I need to, because I wouldn't even say forgiveness is the next step, because sometimes we need to take inventory, right? What do I need
to
do I need to set a boundary? Do I need to remove myself from this person? So, like, if you're in a domestic violence relationship, do I need to get safe first? Like, there's a lot of steps you need to do before you start forgiving, because you got to be safe. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do I got my food? Do I got my water? Do I got my safety? Do I got my shelter? Like, what needs to happen next after I've accepted what has taken place? The motion towards that. And then I would say it is moving towards forgiveness of self. If that's even necessary. Like, sometimes things happen and it's not that we need to forgive ourselves. We just need to put in place better boundaries, or, it's not that you are a bad person or you're not smart, or that sometimes it's just that we just have bad habits, or we learn, bad patterns, and we've got to address that. That's our forgiveness to ourselves. It's like, okay, if I keep going in this pattern, I need to do something about it.
Yeah. And sometimes just giving yourself grace is forgiving yourself.
Right.
Letting yourself know that, okay, it's okay that this has happened.
Right.
And you don't have to finish, or you don't have to complete this. You can just move on.
Right. Yep.
So what does life begin to look like when you finally stop punishing yourself and embrace freedom through forgiveness?
Well, I think it looks like peace.
Ooh.
I think it looks like peace. It looks like I can actually find my own happiness now, because I'm not holding so tightly to the offenses and trying to make sure somebody else pays for something.
That's so good. That's so good. Oh my gosh. I don't know about y'all, but I have enjoyed this episode today. I feel like I have found a peace. I don't know if it was something I needed to forgive myself for, but I feel like throughout this episode, I kind of got some answers that I needed. And it has helped me tremendously to feel the freedom of peace. I think once we name our emotion that we need, we can see where we want to go. Mm-hmm. When you name what you need, you can see, okay, like she said, when she said, take inventory, do I got food? Do I got water? Do I got shelter? Do I have peace? That's a big one. As you go, I hope that you can take something from this episode. If you have taken something from this episode, please drop it down in the comments. Thank you so much, Jessica, for your words of wisdom, for your love, and just your softness that brings peace to me. I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye. Bye.